Brought to you by...
What's up, friends? Ollie here, bringing you back home to Embrace the Film, where we stare into the face of the void itself by taking a little look at a Lovecraftian cosmic horror called The Hollow One. Seated firmly on the edge between low and moderate budgets, we are taken to an isolated farm community, where young and hopeful Rachel is sent down an emotionally destructive path following the tragic death of her mother. Forced to leave home by her grieving father, Rachel and her younger sister Anna return years later to find their father missing and the community almost completely deserted. The few that remain are not the same. They seem devoid of emotion, just empty husks controlled by some unknown desire. Haunted by fractured memories and nightmarish visions of her mother's death, Rachel struggles to piece together the events leading up to her father's disappearance. But the search for answers quickly turns into a deadly race for survival. In order to escape, Rachel must face her past, her mother's dark history, and a mysterious figure with sinister intentions. This was a film that swayed back and forth for me, from beginning to end, leaving me very unsure whether I enjoyed it or not. It comes out of the gate with a very basic series of events that introduce us to its characters, consisting of two separate time jumps before kicking us into a wash of bold lighting and an awesome retro synth score, which always gets me excited for what's to come. However, this is quickly abandoned for a more traditional, ominous piano type of composition. A very unfortunate choice in my eyes, but I ran with it. The overall look of the film was highly appealing, featuring strong cinematography that greatly utilized a free-moving handheld style, a choice that was likely due to budgetary and time constraints. However, for this film, I felt it suited the material. They were able to keep a consistent and high degree of color throughout the film, which was surprising considering the setting and wardrobe were all made up from a palette of drab, neutral tones that would normally warrant a more muted and washed out look. The pacing of the film was, for the most part, fine. However, there were some moments that things felt slightly skewed and didn't make a whole lot of sense. Though I believe this was done by design to help plant us into Rachel's shoes, given that she is suffering from a fragmented memory about the events in her past. One thing that I loved that this film did was an editing trick that twisted our perception as the audience. It's a scene involving an accident where we see it early on from one point of view, and things seem slightly messed up, where you easily pass it off as a possible editing mistake or something like that, but then later on we are shown these same events from a different perspective, and it delivers a great moment of realization that is shown and not told to us, which was probably my favorite moment in the film. The performances throughout the film were a bit less than stellar. No one did a terrible job with their roles, but much of the film felt slightly generic, while other parts felt either highly overacted or terribly underacted, which led me to not care about any of these characters in any meaningful way. At no point did I find myself worried about any of them. It never felt like any of them were in any real danger at any point. And don't even get me started on the girl playing Rachel. She had some very cringy moments of line delivery throughout this film that just didn't really land for me personally, and kept making me stop to wonder how she landed this part to begin with. The sound design throughout the entirety of this film makes some utterly terrible choices. Much of it felt mishandled and could have used far more attention and care. We have many sound effects that were boosted far too high, overpowering the moments and nearly drowning out any of the other important elements of the scene. While delivering an odd and eerie atmosphere, it lacks a subtlety that I feel is necessary in cosmic horror. The film also puts a heavy reliance on the use of low-grade visual effects. They are absolutely not the worst I have ever seen, but being able to pick them out in each frame pulled me out of the moment each time I saw them. I don't think they were utilized well, and almost wish they could have found some other option. There were also moments where the film places an unnecessary filter over the frame, meant to show us that our characters are being watched by something we can't yet see. It looked awful, and was always accompanied by a strange garbled sound effect that became very irritating. I did like the design of the entity throughout the film. Its physical form was kept fairly simple, which I felt helped the impact of the visual effects elements, and its appearance in the photographs and in elements of the backgrounds helped it feel like some sort of living void in space. I found it to be a very interesting and highly unique concept. I did feel that this film stuck very firmly to the Lovecraftian cosmic horror that it set out to be. While it does struggle with some underwhelming effects and mistreated sound elements, it builds an atmosphere of dread throughout that compels the mystery of the narrative and leads us to a downer ending that works perfect for this subgenre. Because in cosmic horror, there should be no way out. We are dealing with forces that we can never hope to understand. I'm giving The Hollow One a B-. This one is available on Amazon Video for those of you who wish to stare into the infinite void and wonder what is possibly staring back. I think this was a strong independent film that makes use of its budget and the tools at its disposal quite nicely. While I had my issues with it, it satisfied me in the end. If you've had a chance to see this flick, please feel free to let me know. It's just a quick scroll down there in that comment section below. If you like this video, maybe a little more than you can describe, shoot me a little thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. If you really enjoy my channel and you want to support it even more, consider checking out ETF on Patreon or Tippy, where every pledge and every tip brings more films to explore. But all jokes and rhymes aside, if you have any suggestions for films that you would like me to check out, or that you would like to see reviewed here on this channel, feel free to reach out to me here on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.